Hello, everyone, and welcome into B&T Sports Talk Show. I'm your boy T here on this wonderful Sunday evening. Something wrong with my camera. Look like you can only see the top of my head. Let me fix that. But y'all, welcome in as I get through this technical difficulty. We appreciate you joining us. If you like what you're hearing, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and there I am. Awesome. B,
What up, man?
how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Just, another day. It's actually pretty warm. Let's see. I went to go check out a concert last night with my sister. I went to go see Revolution with Chloe Kai and Collie Buds. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Two of the acts were great. Third one I wasn't a fan of. Dude, I couldn't understand a word Collie Buds was saying, man. It would be like the whole song, and I can make out like one or two words, and then I'm like, dude, what the hell are you singing about? And the crazy part is I know what he's singing about because I listen to his music. But when you see him in person, it's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Just stick to Spotify and Pandora.
Does he have a thick accent or something?
I think so. But man, that was just one of those times where I couldn't understand an island reggae artist. But man, it was a lot of fun. Definitely an interesting crowd. Lawn seats don't disappoint when it comes to concerts in an outdoor setting.
All types of craziness.
It was I would say just a tad bit of craziness, but that's what you pay for. I enjoyed people watching, to say the least.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, nothing special. I just been playing handyman, as we talked about earlier, putting up shelves. You know what I mean? Gardening, all the fun adult stuff. Boring, but it's been cool, man. It's been cool. Well, folks,
absolutely.
NFL is almost here. Preseason is in full effect and nearly over. We're gonna jump into one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL, which is the NFC East. But before we do, we got a couple of topics we want to jump into and talk about relating to the San Francisco 49ers. We'll cover a little bit about interesting story in basketball. And somehow Noah Lyles found himself, he's becoming like he's trying to be Drake or something. I don't get it. He's just aching for a smackdown from every person he talks about.
I'm about to say that's the last guy he probably wants to be associated with is Drake. But you're right. He's kind of getting towards that there.
Yeah, he ain't even Canadian. I don't know what's wrong with him. So anyway, let's jump into it. We'll start with the 49ers and the situation going on with Brandon Aiyuk. We're still waiting on some news about possible trades, which have been rumored with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots. Nothing's happened. But honestly, I was actually talking, I think Rachel, believe it or not, asked me about what I thought they would do. And I think at the end of the day, man, they hold all the cards. And I don't think the 49ers don't have to make a trade because he's still under contract. And I don't think they will make a trade because I don't think there's anything that they would get in return that they think would be better than what Brandon Aiyuk offers to their team.
It's going to be too late to even try to get a guy like George Pickens. Pittsburgh's not going to want to give that up, especially when they're trying to pair him with the likes of Brandon Aiyuk. So at this point, through all of this trade nonsense, I think Brandon Aiyuk just needs to shut up. Just go and play with the 49ers. Get the extension that you want. Demand a trade some other time here. But I think on the other half too is I think the Niners also dropped the ball on it too. Yeah. They waited too long to try to get something that was worth of him, and now the last thing you want to do is give up a good wide receiver for a damn near bag of potato chips. Yeah. You don't want to walk away from this with only draft picks. You know what I'm saying? You have to walk away with players. The crazy part is when you look at Brandon Aiyuk, if I ask you this, T, is he a top 5 wide receiver? What would you say?
No, he's not.
So, I don't think he's a top 5 either.
Yeah.
So for him to be acting like this and doing what he's doing seems a little bit disappointing. You haven't earned the likes of Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, even A.J. Brown as well. The guys who sign these large deals. I don't think
Tyreek Hill. there's a lot of really good wide receivers out there. We even my pick last year,
CeeDee
Lamb, Jamar Chase, who had a down season but has proved to be a good wide receiver. Devontae Adams, even with the Raiders. I mean, so there's a bunch of guys you can name before you get to Brandon Aiyuk. He really showed himself as being a really good possession receiver. And, I don't know. I guess when guys get to the Super Bowl, they just start feeling like they deserve it. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that he is him being there and not being there, I don't think necessarily makes or breaks the 49ers season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
And the other part to that, well, actually, I lost my train of thought there. But
it's all right. Got to drink that Glen Cobra.
I know it'd be like that sometimes, man. Don't get old, people. We're getting a little older, man. I had a great thought in my head and just disappeared on me here. But Brandon Aiyuk's not the only player that's looking for a new deal. Fat boy Trent Williams is also looking for a new deal.
Why you got to be all that?
Because he's fat. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not telling the truth.
In his defense, he's an old lineman. I mean, damn.
Here's the crazy part, though. Trent Williams is getting fined each day until he reports to camp. Because at least Brandon Aiyuk walked in, but is like, I'm not participating until we get this done. Trent Williams ain't even in the facility, to say the least. So the league is fining him $50,000 a day until he either
can I get some of that
or he signs an extension. Dude, right?
I'll do it.
Can you imagine? I'll get my ass ran over, but hey, man, it's worth the money.
50. I only got to show up one day, and I get $50K. What difference do it, man? If I still can walk the next day, I'm down for $100K.
I'm gonna show up again. Look, man, don't use us to protect Brock Purdy because you and I are gonna fail at this miserably. But man,
I will trip the crap out of somebody.
I'm tackling shoelaces,
exactly.
Not people.
Man, no, man.
But man, I'll let you take that one.
Look,
there.
It's just like we talked about with Brandon Aiyuk. I mean, the 49ers hold the chips. You're still under contract. There's no trade out there. We're getting later and later into the preseason. The season is 2 weeks away. It's just not going to happen. And for a guy like Trent Williams, it's like, yeah, I mean, how much money do you want to lose? Because then you start getting into missing game checks, right? So you're missing $50,000 now. You how much money is he lose? He lost maybe $100K, $200K. I mean,
you know what? We're not even going to talk about his game checks because the man is paid out already.
Yeah,
so,
no, he is.
To be honest, that's nothing to him. But the fact of the matter is, it's a game check. Like, you're still not getting paid to do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I wish that was the case. Like, if we didn't do what we do, we didn't get paid, but we still had a job. Like, if we don't do what we do while we're working, we get fired.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, the worst part is that the Niners have been on the doorstep of winning championships, but they haven't won one just yet. You would figure, had they brought home multiple Vince Lombardi trophies already, I could see the players asking for more because they earned it. But quite honestly, there's nothing to show for why this extension needs to take place. Go win a Super Bowl, then you can validate every single reason why you need more money. But as of right now, all you've been is just a bridesmaid a couple of times.
That's a great point, man. That's what I said about Brandon Aiyuk. Right? Everybody get to the Super Bowl and act like they won it, and now they want out and they want more money, even though they're still under contract. I think the 49ers are going to make it a prove-it year for guys like Brandon Aiyuk. Now, Trent Williams, on the other hand, he's a vet. So I don't know exactly what the deal is with that. But if he wants to go play for the dumpster fire in Tennessee or something like... I mean, what other team do you want to play for at this stage in Trent Williams' career? What other team would you want to play for other than the 49ers? Maybe you get an extension or additional money. Maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're getting paid top dollar. You're paying for one of the best franchises in the NFL. You have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl every year. Just, give your kids a hug and go to work, man. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know, right? But you know what the crazy part is? I think if the Niners were looking at it on who they should sign first, you got to protect your potential franchise quarterback.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
need Trent Williams to protect
You
him.
do, yeah.
And without him, you don't know what kind of season this can be. That's how important Trent Williams is, and that's how good he is at his job. So if there's a priority to which player you sign, I think you need to go Trent Williams first.
All linemen, yeah.
Don't worry about Brandon. Like, you can go out and get a wide receiver, but you can't get, fat boys like Trent Williams out there in this market no more. You really can't.
Boys,
so you might as well just keep them. You can't. Fat big boys, don't matter. But that's still one dude I don't want to see in the alleyway, though.
Oh no, he was like 6'7", 6. No.
6'7", 6'8".
Yeah,
big weight, and man, he'd kill us all if we were in the alleyway. So I'm good, man. He's still intimidating.
He could trip and fall on a pebble and land on one of us and kill us on accident. So no, thank you. I'm good. If the 400 pounds falling on me, no, thank you. Oh man, do we have to talk about my team? Yes, we do. All right. So the Las Vegas Raiders.
They made an announcement today.
Finally made a choice on who their starting quarterback is. They were picking straws, I guess, and somehow or flipped a coin or I don't know. But Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, I gotta be honest. I'm not very enthused about this situation. I thought neither one of these guys was a sure bet, and after watching a couple of preseason games, I'm still there, man. Neither one of these guys has really wowed me, and that's the guy. Accurate passing, making plays, building drives. There have been a couple of big plays for both guys down the field, but Gardner Minshew has been pretty. He's been pretty pedestrian. He's missed some targets, been a little wild with the ball a few times. Aiden McConnell kind of gets stuck on receivers and throws it to them even if they're not open because he's a young quarterback. And B, I just want you to feel my pain because I'm going to go through the preseason stats so we can get an idea of how bad this is. So Gardner Minshew, okay, this is his postseason stat. The guy threw 16 for 33. So he threw the ball 33 times and completed 16 times. That's less than half, folks. He completed less than half his passes. He threw for a total of 212 yards altogether and averaged about 6 yards to throw. Nothing to write home about, especially throwing under 50% completion rate. That lets me know either our offense sucks or he just can't find out where to throw the balls. So that's all. Let's throw in Aiden O'Connell. His numbers: 21 for 29. Okay, didn't throw it. Well, no, he only threw 4 less passes. 21 for 29, 72%. Okay, he not that great as far as average for pass, 6 yards, but not that much different. 172 yards. What I'm seeing from these guys, you got one guy who's got a little bit more confidence, is willing to kind of spread the ball around, but can't find the target, and can lengthen plays. And Gardner Minshew, he can make something happen on the run, but when you're not familiar with your wide receivers, that ain't going to work out every time trying to play street ball. And Aiden O'Connell, on the other hand, is going to be a game manager. And he shows in the numbers, 21 for 29. He's going to make the easy play, the simple read. He's going to complete the pass. So, B, I'm going to ask you because I'm not very enthusiastic about either one. Which guy, looking at these numbers, which one of these guys really, do any of these guys give the Raiders an opportunity to play in the playoffs?
No. But your best bet is Gardner Minshew.
All right.
Just because of the experience, and he damn near took the Colts to the playoffs as well. So I think he's gonna have a little more of a weapon choice in Las Vegas, especially with Devontae Adams. Yeah. I think it's the smart choice to go with right now. Like I said, I think Aiden O'Connell deserves a shot, but at the end of the day, you've got all this confidence going into the season right now, right? You ended the regular season on a high.
Yeah.
So you might as well try to carry that with it, but you need some experience behind the center, and that's Gardner Minshew. He's going to give you the best opportunity here. The only thing is that, honestly, dude, the preseason really doesn't give you numbers to really hang your hat on. Yeah. Like Brock Purdy had his first few series today, looked like trash. But then again, he's only throwing to second and third string receivers. So at this time, you really can't.
He's also not
really
competing
can't.
for his job either. I mean,
But that's true, too.
the urgency is not there for these guys to. I mean, Patrick Mahomes comes in to play in the preseason. He's just like, yeah, I want 2 drives. I want to try to score a touchdown, then I'm going home. These 2 guys are competing for a job, a starting job. And from what I saw in that last game, neither one of them showed up to actually win that job. And so that's the part I don't like. Because, yeah, it's preseason. It's second and third. But it's your opportunity to shine. It's your opportunity to push yourself in the limelight. It's a pressurized situation, even though it's preseason. So we can't get we can't get through a pressurized situation in preseason against the second team Cowboys. How the hell I expect you to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs on prime time and win a game? I'm just saying.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's a competition throughout the season.
Yeah.
But if they win their first few games with Gardner Minshew, you ride with him for the rest of the season. Aiden O'Connell's just there to be that backup like he was, but he was a decent backup, and he helped elevate that Raiders offense there. But I think Gardner Minshew just kind of gives a little more for him. I wouldn't draft him in fantasy though. That'd be that's not a quarterback I'm going for.
Absolutely not. Well, we got some news on your boy. So, for folks who don't know, Noah Lyles has found himself in the news multiple times making comments about athletes, mainly basketball players. Now we're talking about football. And apparently a lot of professional athletes are taking a little bit of they're taking a second glance at Mr. Noah Lyles and saying, what you talking about, Willis? They're trying to figure out why is he opening his mouth to challenge or talk about other folks' sports whenever we know his sport only has importance or relevance every 4 years. And so the next guy on the board is Tyreek Hill, who basically said, yeah, I'll beat you in a race. Now, I don't know how realistic that is. Noah Lyles is pretty fast. All he does is track. Tyreek's pretty fast
Hill's
too.
Pretty quick.
So,
and I'm gonna give the nod to Tyreek Hill, and the only reason why is that if he's that fast wearing football pads, imagine what he does without football pads, without that restriction on him. You know what I'm saying?
But it has to be a 40-yard dash, though. It can't be.
That's fine.
Yeah, it can't be 100 meters race or something like that. It has to be a 40-yard dash.
I'm still taking Tyreek Hill in this foot race, 100%.
All right.
I think Tyreek Hill's gonna take him. The man just needs to be relevant, and now he's got us talking about him yet again. But again, this is a dude who lives on U.S. soil and just bashes that. So you mean to tell me you don't watch the NBA or you don't watch the NFL? Like, get out of here with that mess.
Yeah.
But I'm happy Tyreek Hill called him out.
Yeah.
I would love for that race to take place.
And it should.
Absolutely love it.
And it should.
Can you imagine the publicity that race would get? You remember watching The Boys, right?
Yeah.
Remember when A-Train has the race to see who's the fastest guy? And literally the blink of an eye, all of that. It'd be something similar to that as well with these two dudes racing. So I'm taking Tyreek Hill in a close race, not a blowout there. And Noah Lyles can feel better, but I still think it's Tyreek Hill winning that race.
Well, as long as he doesn't trip on COVID, he'll be all right. Because
shocking how that happens.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that guy got into the 200 meters and all of a sudden he couldn't breathe anymore. Even though apparently, per your report, he was out having himself a great time.
Sure was.
At the nightclub. Just living it up. Painted fingernails and all.
Yeah.
All right.
It still sucks.
All right, well, let's jump into some more NFL talk. I know everybody's been paying attention to preseason and probably noticed something a little weird at the beginning of the game and after touchdowns and field goals, and that's that the new kickoff rules. A little bit different. Ball is scooted much closer to the opposition's goal line. The kicker lines up. The opposing team and the home team are less than 10 yards apart. And then once that kick goes up, they just clash like a bunch of cars in the middle of traffic. It has a little bit of that XFL feel to it. I've seen a couple of fumbles from it where guys are trying to return kicks, and because of the just carnage, the ball comes loose. So I guess I understand it. it looks a little weird, I must say, to start. B, how do you feel about this new rule, and do you think it's going to add some more juice to the kickoff overall?
I love this. I love this rule. The one, you are protecting the players because now they're not coming down full speed, like they were back in the day. So you are looking out for the players. But this is a very exciting time for the NFL. Who doesn't love a kickoff, right? We're all hyped up. It's the start of the game here. What do you want to see? A touchback? I'm tired of seeing touchbacks.
Yeah.
I want to see carnage. I want to see guys just getting annihilated here. And we're getting it now. Very little touchbacks in the NFL now. More returns are starting to take place. It looks kind of funny, though, because the kicker's all by himself.
Yeah, it's weird.
Standing there
and everybody's frozen. Everybody's frozen. Until the ball finally gets to the return. It's weird, man. But I hear what you're saying. You're absolutely right, because let's be honest, the kickers in the NFL they got so good that most of them were kicking it out the back of the end zone. Most kickers are kicking the ball out the back of the end zone. So what's the point of even having it? And they don't want to get rid of kickers entirely. So we got to find a middle ground. I think this was it.
I think this is the perfect middle ground. But you know what's funny? This actually came from the new XFL.
Oh, really?
The new XFL was running this. Yeah, they were doing this for the first 2 seasons. And I think the NFL adopted it right after that because it works. And it's the safety. And like I said, the big thing is the safety of their players there. I feel like the XFL is just like a training ground for stuff the NFL wants to do.
It probably is. Maybe the NFL is partially funding it for that reason. It's their research and development department.
The XFL is a test subject, and if it goes well, then we're going to do it in the NFL here. And the other thing too that the NFL took is that Sky Cam. The Sky Cam footage.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
That adopted from the XFL as well. They were the first ones to do that.
Yeah.
The whole boom thing, when you got the guy with the big old plastic shield on the sidelines as well, that came from the XFL.
Wow. See, I didn't know that, man.
A lot of the things that the NFL has is not from the NFL. That's from the XFL. You remember when Jesse the Body Ventura was on the sidelines doing interviews?
Yep, I do.
Yep. Well, the NFL kind of did that there, but they took it to the new
level. Pam Oliver, 1,000 years old.
But then also the interviews in between halftime.
Yeah.
That's from the XFL as well. So if you start seeing it before the NFL gets to it, then just know that the NFL is probably going to put that in their league at some point if it works.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I guess the only thing missing is a bunch of 25 sexy reds in the audience. Because if you remember the cheerleaders in the XFL.
I think we all do at some point.
That was a hot mess.
Pretty scandalous, to say the least here. Yeah. The last thing we need is 25 sexy reds running up and down the field. No. We don't need none of that, man. No, for those who don't know, Sexy Red just YouTube her and that answers all the questions that you need to have answered.
Exactly.
But no, we're not promoting her at all.
No, we're not. Please, don't do it. Let it go. Oh my goodness. Oh man, next subject. We're gonna jump into the NBA real quick, and this is a crazy story. Okay, so apparently LeBron's agent, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Well, y'all know who he is.
The dude who married
Rich Paul.
Is the dude that's he's engaged to Adele.
Good for him.
I didn't know he was dating Adele.
Yeah, he's been dating her for a long time. Though my man came up big, and if you see him in person, he's like 5'5", my brother. He's a short king. He's a short king.
He gives us short kings a chance. I love it. Thank you, Rich Paul, for doing that. You're giving me an opportunity. I love it. Where is my Adele at?
For real. So, in any case, LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, came out and basically said there were some discussions about setting up a trade between the Warriors and the Lakers for LeBron to join Steph Curry. However, Rich Paul stepped in and said, no, LeBron, that's a bad look. You do not need to go to a fourth team. It's not going to be good for your legacy. Blah, blah, blah. Let's stay in LA. First off, can you... why is this being entertained? But when I first heard about that rumor, I was like, this is dumb. But now to know that there was actually some structure to, or at least discussion about a trade, what? I am so glad that LeBron did not go to the Warriors. That would have been crazy. I would have been so upset because not only that, but what the hell are the Warriors going to trade the Lakers that we can actually use? I mean, nothing. It would have been horrible for the Lakers. It would have been astronomical for the Warriors. That's not a good trade. That's not a good trade at all, and I'm glad it didn't happen. Thank you, Rich Paul.
See, that's where you're wrong, because it would have been a great trade, because we would have seen what the Summer Olympics looked like for half a season before we got the actual taste of it there. Look, the only reason why this story broke out is because we finally got a chance to see these two on the same team, and it was absolutely amazing to watch. As much as I don't want to say that, it was some great basketball chemistry between those two, and you saw it with that reaction there.
Yeah.
And so when you see that, of course you're going to say that. Rich Paul was the biggest blocker of this trade happening. It is unreal that we were very close from seeing a LeBron Curry team up that didn't involve the Olympics. That's how close it came, folks, because Joe Lacob and Jeannie Buss had the conversation. They were looking to make this done. When they reached out to LeBron James, Rich Paul said, "You are not going anywhere. Nowhere. This is the final stop."
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I can't believe this almost happened.
This is stupid, man. I'm not signing up for another Warriors KD run where there's not even a reason to watch the regular season games anymore because it's a far gone conclusion. And check this out. I guarantee you that if LeBron went to I'm serious, if LeBron went to the Warriors, guess who would have been probably trying to straddle along right behind him?
KD.
You exactly. 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 That's exactly what would have happened. Because remember, there were rumors about KD being traded last season too, because of how bad they played with the Suns. I mean, they would have traded, they probably would have traded, Clay and, Kuminga and some other guy to, the between the Lakers and the Suns would have done some type of ridiculous deal that landed the Lakers a good player and young talent and draft picks and landed the Suns, I don't know, whatever it is they were looking for. But man, yeah, I'm so glad that didn't happen. That would have just been terrible. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Let me tell you this. This is how it goes down. Before last season, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say it's in the talks, right? We're trying to make this happen. This is what the Warriors do. And realistically, these three guys have 3 years, now 2 years, of good basketball.
Right.
Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I would have said the Warriors would have said, "Here's Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is on the table. Moses Moody, Kuminga. We'll even throw. The next 4 years. We'll give you the next 4-year first-round draft
Lakers are taking all the first-round draft picks and start over from scratch.
Exactly. The Lakers are taking the first-round draft picks. The Suns are taking those players there. Yeah. We get the retirement home of retirement homes sitting on our team here, and the only young two guys that we have left on the bench are Podziemski and Trace Jackson Davis there. That is, don't forget, I'm even going to include Draymond into this team too.
Oh, you try.
Let's not forget that he's still part of this. You know what I'm saying? He's not going anywhere. Can you imagine that four-headed monster?
Nope, don't want to.
Taking place there? Oh, man, it had just been the Summer Olympics every single day in Golden State.
No, thank you. Dude, you serious right now? Like I said, there'll be no reason to watch the regular season.
If we're talking hypotheticals, I mean, this hypothetical almost came true. What's not to say that this conversation doesn't start now that we saw what it could do?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Here's how the trade goes down. The Lakers they would have to go through a complete overhaul, meaning starting from scratch We would take all the young players that the Warriors could give us, all of their draft picks. We would take some of the Suns' first-round draft picks and a young player off their roster. AD would go to Phoenix, and LeBron would go to the Warriors, and the Lakers would have to start over from scratch like the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's no way a trade like that happens unless the Lakers completely give up on this group and decide that the only way that they can get better is by starting from scratch and drafting young talent the same way the Celtics, OKC, and other teams have done so. So I don't know, man. It ain't happening. At least not yet.
Hey, man, we could do 1 year with expiring contracts. Say, you know what? Let's do it all for 1 year and let's see what happens. That would be the oldest NBA champions ever.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes. It would be. It would, y'all. Yeah, they would instead of a championship reign, you guys would get championship canes. You know, that's how old our team is. Bedazzled cane.
Could have put that on the fly like that.
Yeah,
the bedazzled cane.
with the gold in the top and the handle. You know what I mean? Oh my
exactly.
goodness.
Hey, real quick before we get into our NFC East chat, I'm gonna give this the Niners Stadium damn near looks like a regular season stadium right now.
Oh yeah,
that thing is damn near fully packed. I give them. That's a lot of credit where credit is due because, to be honest with you, in these preseason games, no one goes. No one goes.
I mean, there's a lot of weight on the 49ers' shoulders, man. I mean, you got to think about it. They got to the championship game. They made it to the Super Bowl last year. There's a lot of expectation for this group. There's a lot of money poured into this group. They got to get it done. And the 49ers and the 49 fans know that they've got a young core. Especially with Purdy. So you've got maybe another 2 or 3 years to get a stab at winning the Super Bowl.
I'm just shocked that there's that many people at a preseason game. I think that's what kind of just blew me away.
Hey, maybe the tickets were cheaper. I don't know. Probably not.
I doubt it.
I
doubt it. It's Silicon Valley. Ain't nothing cheap around that area.
Besides
the air.
$20 hot dogs.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's jump into the preview. We got the NFC East teed up. One of the most competitive, kind of. The bottom of this division has fallen off quite harshly. But
oh God, you want to talk about just? Oh Jesus!
Used to be one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL, but has since kind of changed. But let's hop into it. We're going to start with the very first team, the team at the top who won the division, and that would be, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, the Dallas Cowboys. Jekyll and Hyde, as I like to call them. They show up for games sometimes, and other times they just don't show up at all. Dak Prescott looks like the best quarterback you've ever seen 1 week, and then the next week he looks like he left his glasses at home. So it's difficult to kind of gauge this team, although I think they will be successful in the regular season. They definitely got to figure out what they're going to do with CeeDee Lamb because that's a huge part of what they do. Jerry Jones is being propped up with old popsicle sticks and a coat hanger at this point. He's alive in quotation marks, but I'm pretty sure he's that's a robot. That's not a real person. So to go through some of the stats, 12-5 last year. Lost in the wild card to the Packers.
They didn't lose. They got that ass whooped.
That was just fifth rank offense, fifth rank defense. Didn't do them any good. What do you see from this team, B? Didn't make a ton of changes this offseason. What do you see in this team, and where do they finish in this division?
Look, they picked up Ezekiel Elliott back, which I found very weird to get rid of him just to bring his ass back.
What's he gonna do? The guy's garbage.
You know what I'm saying? When you just look at the team in general here, they have a really good team. We just can't figure out why they can't get past anything here.
Yeah, man.
But I think the more troubling thing is the fact that they got two of their franchise players on contract disputes, and their owner doesn't want to do anything. CeeDee Lamb is holding out because I honestly think that is the second best wide receiver in the league next to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
I'll say that with confidence. But I think right behind him is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had a monstrous second half of the season there.
Check your fantasy team. You can ask your fantasy team about CeeDee Lamb.
I'm just saying, he was on my fantasy team, and man, I was averaging almost 25 points a game from that man. So from a fantasy standpoint, it was great. But from just a football standpoint, one of the best second halves that we've seen in a while here. And Dak Prescott, like, how long are you going to roll with this man until you have to move off saying we need to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That's what he can't get out of the divisional. The Cowboys as a group can't get out of the divisional. So what are they going to do to just elevate that? We all know they're going to make the playoffs. That is a given fact. But what are you going to do when you get in there? Their defense held by Micah Parsons, who I think is a top 5 linebacker in this league as well, with the likes of Trayvon Diggs there as well. They had really good. They had one of their best seasons last year. Had nothing to show for it besides an ass whooping in the wild card game. So it's not so much of what you're gonna do in the regular season, is what are we gonna see in the postseason here, and what exactly are we gonna get from them? Quite honestly, if they don't settle these contract disputes, they may find themselves not making the playoffs, to say the least, because you're gonna have guys who just are not gonna want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like these guys are like they might as well change their name to the Dallas James Hardens, because that's exactly what the Dallas Cowboys are. They are the James Hardens of football team. They do great in the regular season. They're highlight after highlight after highlight. Dak Prescott looks like the best quarterback ever. And then they get into the postseason or play against difficult teams and they just kind of fall apart. I don't know, man. I mean, this is one of those things where you start to question leadership and if this is a mental thing, where you're playing this well during the regular season. You got the top 5 defense and offense on the same team, and you can't beat the Green Bay Packers, who, had a good run. I'm not mad at the Packers. They had a nice little run, but they don't have Super Bowl aspirations. They're just a team that's just happy to be there. And so that leads me to believe that the Dallas Cowboys are a team who buckled under the pressure. Those type of teams, you can't really predict. You can't predict for them, because at the end of the day, it's not something on paper that's stopping them from losing. It's something mentally, something coaching, something leadership-wise that is keeping them from getting over the hump. And those are the worst teams, because much like the Arizona Cardinals, who went on that, they just were killing the league for half a season, fell short, and then just bowed out in the playoffs. You've got to figure out what that is. The Dallas has to figure out why that's happening. What's the issue? Is it the quarterback? Is it the coach? Why are they being held back and can't get over the hump? At least to win a playoff game and give yourself an opportunity. The Eagles did them a favor. I mean, the Eagles did not have a great season this year. Last year, they did not play very well. And the Cowboys took advantage during the regular season and did nothing in the postseason. It's garbage. I think they'll still finish second place. I think they finished second place. Or no, I think they still might win this division, honestly. I'm going to give it to the Cowboys. I'm going to say they still win the division. They've got the talent to do it in the regular season, but they're just not going to do anything in the playoffs.
If CeeDee Lamb doesn't sign, they're not.
Well, that's true.
They're second. Yeah. They're second in this division. But let's look at their first 4 games. They're on the road against the Browns. They get the Saints at home. Then they get the Ravens at home. And then they play the wonderful New York Giants.
Oh, that's a win.
Which that game has found itself to be on primetime television. Who the hell knows why?
So we can see a beatdown.
It would be. They whooped their ass last year in week 1. That was no fun. What are you looking at record-wise first 4 games in?
That's tough, man. But I think they got a good chance of going first. That was the first 5 games, right? First 5. First four. Excuse me. They got a good chance of going 3-1. I think they can beat. They can beat the Browns. They can definitely beat the Giants. The Ravens is probably the one game I don't think they're going to win. I think they got a good chance at it. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, this is a good team. They're a good team.
It is.
It's just, they're going to win games. It's just that they won't win in the postseason. That's all.
I'm gonna say they go 2-2. I say they lose I say they lose the season opener against the Browns.
To the Browns.
The Browns also have a really good defense. I think.
Yeah, but their offense is questionable. Okay.
Yeah, but the Browns, look, defense comes with you. They were the number 1 defense last year, so I would give the edge to them in that game there. And
well, I don't know. They got
I wouldn't say the Cowboys are beating the Ravens.
I think the inner thigh tickler is still questionable, and that's Deshaun Watson. We're not sure if he's gonna show.
Are flying out tonight.
I don't know if he's gonna show up and show out, man. I really don't. I haven't seen the guy play football in the better part of 4 or 5 years. So I'm not sure if Deshaun Watson is really that guy for the Browns, but I guess we'll see.
Then he should be fully relaxed and ready to go. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh man, they're gonna hire all male staff for the Browns. Anyway, let's go. Let's go to the next team. We got the Eagles. Kind of a disappointing run for them. They started off really, they started off all right and just kind of fell back into the pack, and then really, really, close or good game against the Bucks. But for them, a team that had played in the championship game, the NFC Championship game the year before, it was definitely disappointing. Let's see what we got. We got AJ Brown is back, gets his money.
Large contract.
They get Saquon Barkley, which should help some of their run game and not have all of it fall on the back of their quarterback. But 26th ranked defense last year after being a top 10 defense previously. I don't know, man. This is another one that's kind of tough for me to gauge with them falling off so quickly. I think Saquon Barkley, if healthy, can definitely offer them something on the offensive end, especially with the offense that they run. But I don't know, man. I don't know if the Eagles are the same team that threatened to go to the Super Bowl or went to the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yeah, their defense is going to really have to step up here. I honestly think, their offense is really well-rounded here. And the addition of Saquon Barkley is going to give them an added threat here. I think that was a great pickup for them. But, man, that defense took a hit. And, honestly, their season took a hit when they got absolutely mollywopped by the 49ers at home. Because once that happened, it was just a downhill spiral for the rest of the season during that time there.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts didn't look right. AJ Brown, even though he got the big contract during the offseason here, didn't have something good at the end of the stretch there. So I think, honestly, a lot of pressure's on Nick Sirianni this year. That was a big drop-off, man. You were leading the division.
Yeah.
The best team in the NFC. And you let that wash away when the real best team in the NFC came into your house and absolutely put a smack into.
Beat the crap. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So I just think that, Nick Sirianni is going to have a lot. I think, his focus should be more on the defensive end of things. The Eagles' defense isn't that bad either. When you look at it, what's the name that stands out for me here? Jalen Carter. That's one of them here. There was another guy that just CJ Carter Johnson as well. So they had Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat is another guy for them as well. So it's not like they don't have decent defensive players, but it just was terrible to say. I've never seen defense get that bad so quickly here.
Yeah, and if they're going to be playing against teams like Dallas on a regular basis, then they're going to need the help. And we talked a lot of crap about Dallas. One thing that they do have is offense. And you're not going to be able to play against this team a few times a year and get your butt kicked, because these are the teams, especially in a division like this, you have to beat the teams in your division in order to have an opportunity to move forward. So I think the Eagles have a chance to be a wild card team. I think their offense can help carry them. But defense is in question, and if they're going to be playing high-powered offenses, then maybe they might not be able to keep up. And there's a dark horse. Excuse me, not black. Dark horse.
Say a black horse, huh?
That black horse has a job. a black job. Anyway, so we're gonna go
Stop.
to Washington Commanders. The Washington.
Oh,
the Giants. Okay.
Commanders are last.
Okay, fine. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to say about the Giants? I mean, let's keep it real here. The Giants suck. They're trash. They're absolute garbage. Their starting quarterback is just... He's like Joe Flacco... Bizarro Joe Flacco. He's like Joe Flacco, but worse somehow. It's a 6-11 record. Obviously, they did make the playoffs. They lost Saquon Barkley. They were ranked 29th overall. That is the bottom of the barrel, folks. There's only a couple more spaces from there on offense. 27th ranked defense. Need I say more? I mean, the Giants are
Daniel Jones or
garbage.
Tommy DeVito. Daniel Jones or Tommy DeVito. You got a busted quarterback and Mr. Italian man himself.
They will be better off with Danny DeVito at this point.
Look, man, the Giants are just a pile of mess here. I honestly think the Washington Commanders are going to be better than them than this year. Than last year. But, dude, losing Saquon Barkley, not even trying to build around him, giving max contracts to all the wrong players. You know, I don't know how Daniel Jones is even earning a max contract. In your mind, in the front office, are you really going to sit there and go, dude, we're going to give this contract to Daniel Jones and not to our best player? Like, he
had one good season. One! And he had the one good season at just the right time, a contract year. And that's why he got paid. But what did they do that year? I mean, they went to the playoffs. I think they had one upset in the first round of the playoffs. They beat the Vikings and then lost to the Eagles, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in that year. I don't remember. Yes. And so that was it. That's all he had to do. And he got paid. Now the guy comes in. He looks like he's got the yips or something in preseason. He can't throw the ball. He looks like a deer in headlights. Last season was just terrible, even with the injury. I don't see it. I think they finish at the bottom of the heap in the NFC East. They will not make the playoffs, and they will be a steaming pile of blue poo. There is nothing left for Daniel Jones to do other than get traded or fall off the face of the earth in the next season, because the Giants will be looking to draft a quarterback next season for sure.
They should have been looking this season to draft a quarterback, to say the least, man. They have nobody who could throw the ball.
They're garbage.
Tommy DeVito is dog water. The only reason why he is liked in New York is because he is Italian, folks. Italian people lost their damn mind the minute he was a quarterback in the NFL. Because last time I remember, I have not seen an Italian quarterback that ran an NFL team. So there's losing its mind.
Whoa, you don't remember Vinny Testaverde? You don't remember Tony Romo? I mean, come on now. These are some great Italiano quarterbacks.
But they didn't have the same effect as Tommy DeVito did. They weren't sitting in the crowd going like this. You know what I'm saying? You had Tommy DeVito doing that in the crowd. All right, his dad is there. His agent looks like a mafia person, to say the least, right?
Whoa! Oh man!
Here's what I don't get though. How did the New York Giants have 3 primetime games? The Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Steelers that they play are all on prime. Why are we watching?
Because they're in New York. They're in New York. That's why. That's the only reason they're in New York, man. That's it. That's it. If
I was sitting in that room going, what? As someone who's maybe a VP of dictating who gets primetime games, and I saw the New York Giants on that list, I would have fired everybody on site saying this has got to be the dumbest schedule ever. They should not. The only primetime game they should have is against the Cowboys, that third game of the season. Yeah, After that, that's it. We don't need to see you guys anymore, okay? Yeah. Speaking of games, their first 4 games, the Vikings, the Commanders, the Browns, and the Cowboys.
They're going to lose all of them.
How are they doing?
They're losing all of them. They're losing every single one. Even the Commanders, who we're going to talk about momentarily. That team does not look like they are prepared to win football games. They lost the best player on their team. Daniel Jones is a shell of, I guess, what they thought he would be. I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
Yeah,
Trash.
I'm going 0-4
Garbage.
too. I'm going 0-4.
Garbage. Now we can talk about the dark horse. Here we go. The Commanders. This team they've got some talent, and they went out and they made some moves. Let's take a look at what they did in the offseason. So of course they drafted what's the kid's name? Jaden Daniels. Okay. Let's see who else. They picked up Austin Eckler, running back. They got a vet and Zach Ertz on the team there. Dante Fowler. They picked up Marcus Mariota. Why'd they do that?
You need a backup.
I guess you do. You're right. Bobby Wagner, another vet. So they're adding some veterans to some of these young, talented players. Yeah, man, I like what I've seen from Jane Daniels so far in the preseason. This is one of those teams who has the opportunity to just get better. They're young. They don't know any better. Just go out and play and have a great time. And I think that they have an opportunity to make a little noise because, to be quite honest with you, the Eagles are okay. We just talked about the Giants. They suck. And the Cowboys could lose to anybody any night. So I think the Commanders have a chance to be a slightly above 500 team. I'm not saying they're going to blow anybody's socks off, but I'm saying that they will be exciting to watch and have an opportunity to be a wild card team.
I like the offense that the Commanders are rolling out there. The only thing that they have subject is the quarterback. I think Daniels probably will end up being the starter for them. But look, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, add Austin Eckler. You, like you said, you have Zach Ertz. You draft Luke McCaffrey, the brother of Christian McCaffrey. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're going to get from him, but go back and watch Luke McCaffrey's time at Duke. It was actually pretty impressive there. They have the offense. I think and if Daniels proves himself, they may have a really, really good offense. I don't think scoring is going to be a problem. I think stopping the scoring is going to be their biggest problem here. Bobby Wagner is a vet. He is a little bit on the older side there. Yeah. So you're not getting prime Wagner there, but you are getting a very good leadership there. Imagine had they not fire sale that entire defense last year.
Yes.
By letting guys go.
Yes.
This actually may be a second place team had they kept all of those guys.
Yeah, man, that didn't make any sense, man.
But I'm right there with you. They have the opportunity to really show out in the league with what they have here. It is going to be a long shot. It has to be an absolute perfect thing. But they do have a good head coach in Daniel Quinn. He is a defensive-minded guy. He's been with the Niners organization. He's been with the Cowboys. He's been with some high-profile organizations. So bringing him in and really improving that defense, I think gives them a really good opportunity to make some noise in the NFC.
Team to watch. I mean, they were fun to watch with Sam Howell, honestly, and Dotson.
Yeah,
and so
they were lightweight competitive for a little bit. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a nice little season for them to get that experience under their belt, and hopefully they win some games along the way. But they definitely going to be better than the Giants. I'll just put it like that.
Oh God, I think the whole league is going to be better than the New York Giants.
You're right.
I think so.
Yeah.
But so where do you have them? Let's look at their first 4 games because I think that's really going to tell what we get from them. They get the Buccaneers. They play the Commanders, the Bengals, and the Cardinals. Those are their first 4 games.
The Commanders played the Bengals and the Bengals, Cardinals. You said they played the Commanders. Oh, who are they playing?
The New York Giants and the Buccaneers. Those are the first 4.
Got you. Yeah, I think they could go. I'll say 2-2. I'll say 2-2. I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
So we're saying that they're going to beat the Commanders, or they're going to beat the Giants and the Cardinals, is what they're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Is what we're saying.
Yes.
I honestly, they may go. I'm gonna go a little more. I say they go 3-1.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, I feel like early in the season they're going to be a little filling out period. But hey, man, maybe.
So let me get this straight too. The only primetime game that the Bengals have is going to be against, or the Commanders have, is against the Bengals, and that's it. How do the New York Giants have 2 more primetime games than this team, and they are a lot worse? They finished last in this division, and they got one primetime, which is right. That's disrespectful to the Commanders.
Our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the disrespect.
Yeah, they're gonna shove the New York Giants down our throat for damn near 3 straight weeks of primetime games.
Garbage, man.
That is absurd.
I hope they put them on. I hope all 3 of them are on that stupid Friday game. That's what I hope it is.
No, the Bengals, all 3 their games. I'm sorry, I keep saying the Bengals.
The Giants.
The Commanders and New York Giants have early primetime games, so they're on either Sunday or Monday.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
We'll see. We will see. Well, we won't see. I don't want to see.
I might just go to work on Monday just so I don't have
to watch just to avoid it.
What are you doing here? I don't want to watch Monday Night Football.
I'm good, man. Trash on television's got me all messed up.
Exactly.
All right, and well, last but not least, a sad time in the Bay Area. So the final Bay Bridge series between the A's and the Giants. For those who don't know, these 2 teams played each other in the World Series back in '89, if I'm not mistaken. 89. And it was the Battle of the Bay. I don't know if you're from the Bay Area, you remember the poster with the two giant baseball players,
the two steroid giant players on that poster,
pulling on the title in between with the Bay Bridge in the background and the stadium in the middle. Good times. Earthquake happened during those that World Series as well.
Not a good time.
Not a good time at all. But yeah, man, there was a time where this was a very competitive situation back in those late 80s, early 90s. Unfortunately, it hasn't been like that for quite some time, really. But it's always fun to remember. Two historic teams. People forget how good the A's were back in the early days, as well as the Giants even further before that. The Giants. So these 2 teams have been have had some great legacies behind them, and unfortunately, the A's will be heading out to Vegas, baby, to join the Raiders and live it up in the lights. And then, of course, the Giants ain't going nowhere. They're right there on the water, so they're there to stay.
This is a very sad time in the Bay Area. Look, we all know that stadium is an absolute trash dump, but there's something about it that just still is like, it's A's, Giants, it's the Bay Area. It's a 20-minute car drive, about an hour and a half of Bay Area traffic, separating these 2 teams here. It sucks, man. This is the end of all that is Bay Area sport. As far as rivalry goes, you had the Niners and Raiders, you had the A's and the Giants there. The Bay Area is still all one group, but man, there was just nothing like that time when these 2 teams got together and played baseball against each other, and even football. And the fact that now this is like the end of the chapter. Right? Yeah. This is where that it is done after this. The A's are no longer going to be in Oakland because this series is officially over. It sucks, man. Can't go battle the Bay, Sacramento, because remember, Sacramento is not the Bay Area no more.
No, it's
north.
Yeah.
They are. That's north. They made that claim after making the playoffs that we're no longer part of the Bay Area. So that's not even a Bay Bridge series no more. So it's tough, man. As a baseball fan, as just a Bay Area fan as well, that rivalry is no longer there. And like you said, the players that come across the A's organization, Dennis Eckersley, Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart, the list goes on, man. And You know, that legendary team in '89 that beat the Giants in the World Series. The Giants had a good team themselves. That was Matt Williams. That was Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell. You know, it was who was I'm thinking I'm blanking on the leadoff hitter. But yeah, man, it just sucks. Bay Area baseball is just not the same no more. I have my team, but I just feel bad for A's fans, man, because it's just not going to be the same no more.
Yep, they all left. Oakland is devoid of sports. There's nothing there anymore. There is no there, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it is an unfortunate happening. Obviously, everybody's been everybody's been leaving Oakland. You know, it's tough to see. Just being an Oakland native, just watching these teams and all the history that they have, and watching all of them just kind of fade away. So, you know, kids are gonna grow up in Oakland not even knowing that they was a team there to begin with. So interesting.
Hey, before we sign off, can we give a shout out to Caitlin Clark, who is absolutely tearing it up in the WNBA now?
Yeah,
she took her beatings. She got knocked
around. Beat up. Yep.
She just broke the record for the rookie record for assist here. Dude, she's leading the league in 8.3 assists per game. She had 9 on Sunday, 232 overall, beating the record held by Ticha Penichener. I can't even pronounce that name. With 224. You know, and she was playing with the Sacramento Monarchs during that time as well. Look, man, Caitlin Clark is the real deal.
She is.
And she's making it happen here. And I'm glad she's getting the success now. Because, man, the hate that she got and the hate that she is still getting,
in the beginning,
she has pushed that off to the side and focused on her own career. And it just got better through that overall time that she had away during the Olympic break. It's paying off, man. She hit a 3 yesterday that literally reminded me of Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, yeah, she came off.
Yep. Shot it, and it just nothing but the bottom of the net. And I was like, damn, this is the WNBA version of Steph Curry. And that's not taking anything away from Sabrina over in New York with the Liberty. She's a great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But she's not shooting it like Caitlin Clark or, you know, giving that effect there. So I hope they make the playoffs. They're on the doorstep of being in the playoffs there. Caitlin Clark is going to win Rookie of the Year. She may even find herself in the MVP conversation for what she's done with the Indiana Fever here. And yes, people, I watch the WNBA because she makes it exciting to watch. So don't hate. Just put it on.
Just
if
watch.
You're a basketball fan, appreciate it.
Just watch.
It is fantastic to watch. She has made it exciting to watch. So please, just enjoy it.
That's right. So for anybody who ever wants to say that B is a hater on women's sports, he is not. He is telling you right now that it's exciting, and you need to go and watch it right now. All right, folks. Well,
yeah.
That's it for us. We're gonna sign out. Man, it's been a wonderful Sunday evening. Great show. Looking forward to the show next week, where we're going to drop a video instead of a live show at 6:30 on Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. Again, Sunday 6:30. Again, if you like what you're hearing, hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. It's not just hit all 3 of them. We appreciate that. And we will be back next Sunday, y'all. Talking about more NFL nonsense. And as we get closer and closer to the season opener.
Yep. Hey, don't forget, we have our draft tonight. So be on at 9 o'clock. Be on in an hour and a half, sir. We got our
NFL fantasy. I'm going to suck at second year. Great. I did my first one last year. And
just don't finish in last.
It was rough. I'm going to do my best and try to win. We'll see how it goes. All right.
Yeah.
Until next time, y'all. Peace.